Okay, here's my story. My parents embarrassed me. Their very existence embarrassed me. So now I'm a parent, and I have 3 kids, and the same things come around. They're all embarrassed by me. And what really frustrates me is if you have kids when you're older, my kids have never got to see me at my athletic peak, which has become warped into my own mind. It was probably 6th grade kickball, but I still, I want to show off for them. So what I did was I decided to take my kids to school, to take them canoeing. My 2 sons and my daughter, who was 13 at the time, refused to go because she didn't want her hair getting wet. So I was left with my 8-year-old son and my 6-year-old son. And what you did, I'm in Chester County, we took a bus, and they take you the bus to the top of the river, the Brandywine River, and we ride out there. It was a weekday in March, so there was only one other family in the bus. It was this preppy-looking couple, very nice, they're very nicely dressed, with a very nattily attired 5-year-old daughter. And they had a very fancy picnic basket, which my 2 sons are looking at me because I didn't bring anything. So we get in the canoe, and this is a chance for me to show off. So I'm in the canoe, I'm going, this is a J stroke. You do it in the figure of a J, and I'm doing this lecture. My sons could care less. My 8-year-old apparently thinks he's tubing because he's laying in the canoe with the paddle just dragging in the water, sleeping. My 6-year-old son had just seen the movie Star Wars, so he's all excited. He's jumping around the canoe, pretending the paddle is like a lightsaber. So he's jumping around the canoe all over. This causes us to be all over the water. And I said, guys, settle down. We'll tip over, which is the wrong thing to say, as all the teachers know, to 2 oppositionally defined, i.e. brats. It's the wrong thing to say, because what they do is then take the canoe, start tilting it back and forth, going tidal wave, because they think they're really funny. This causes us to keep hitting other canoes. We're actually canoe. The same people from the bus we kept crashing into. If you think the odds of that are small, and this is the thing, if you have more than 2 kids, it's zone defense. When I tried to teach my 2 sons to ride a bicycle, I took them to a parking lot, put them on opposite ends of the parking lot. They amazingly got up at the same time, rode across the parking lot, right at each other, like magnets with a death wish. They crashed, and I had a hard time explaining to my wife how it happened. So anyway, we keep hitting this canoe, and I say to the people, look, you paddle on ahead. I'm sorry to ruin your day. You just paddle on ahead. I'll just sit here with, we'll just sit here for a while. And the problem is I daydream. So I'm just sitting there, imagining I'm a Steve McQueen floating along. I'm not sure what movie Steve McQueen's in a canoe, but just picture the scene. I'm thinking, I'm daydreaming, and we drift too close to the bank. And my son Brian's head hits a low-hanging branch. Now don't feel sad for Brian, he has a head of stone. The branch loses and falls into our canoe, as did a herd, group, committee, I don't know what you call it, spiders, just spread everywhere all over the canoe. My sons start panicking, and I know that around the bend, there's a clearing in the middle of this river, so I start paddling like a madman. In my own mind, I'm going down the Snake River, but I'm paddling like a madman. I pull up onto the bank, right onto the blanket of a familiar family of 3. They're apparently having a picnic. My sons jump out of the canoe yelling, "Spiders!" They run. I stand up trying to act like macho guy, like calm guy. I look to the dad and I go, "Nature boys." And I start stamping out little spiders with my foot, like I'm Mr. Cool Guy. My son Jack stops and turns and points to me and says, "Dad, there's a tarantula going up your leg." Now, to this day, I don't know what a tarantula looks like. All I know is I looked down and there was this like disembodied hand crawling up my leg. Still the most frightening thing I've ever seen. I hear an ear-piercing female scream, which was not the family of 3 because they had gotten in a canoe and taken off like an outboard motor. No, that was me. At that point, I just completely panic, and I'm just swinging the paddle around frantically, and I run, and I jump in the Brandywine. This is March. I'm freezing cold, and I'm in the Brandywine. Now, the whole point of these stories, for me, is I was trying to impress my 2 boys. And the last time in life I was trying to impress somebody was when I was single and going to the bars and trying to impress young ladies. And it did okay until I hit the dance floor. And then things went bad because I make Elaine from Seinfeld look like Baryshnikov. so it's horrible. And I just see the disillusionment crossing their face. When I popped my head out of the water and looked at my two sons' faces, I saw they had been schooled. They had seen their father dance for the first time.